Hey, it's Anna. Welcome back to my channel, and it is the March Readathon, and I'm extremely nervous. I feel like I should have just done it last weekend. I feel like there are a lot of activities this week where I won't be able to read, but I have done so good about making the last true weekend of every month a readathon that we're gonna try. We're gonna try and see how much we can read. I feel like this month has just been absolutely incredible for physical reading for me. Between physical books and ebooks, I finished every physical book I wanted to this month. I have finished one ebook. Hopefully I'll finish another with this readathon. So feel like I'm doing really good there. So this surprisingly might be a more audiobook focused readathon, which I feel like I haven't had one of those in a while. I usually have a pretty good list of books before the readathon, but this time I don't. It's actually kind of lackluster. So I am doing a whole separate video about reading a chapter of an arc every day, trying to increase the amount I read for arcs because I have a lot. However, the Fellowship of Puzzle Makers, which I don't have the cover on my Kindle for whatever reason, is an arc that I received that comes out in early April, and I like to read before the publication date. So I just want to prioritize this in a readathon video. That way I can make sure I get it done. I don't want to save it for another video. And that's like the only one I'm guessing I'll get to because I feel like this will be so audiobook heavy. I don't think realistically I'll finish the whole ebook. I just want to make sure I get like a decent ways into it. So I do have an audiobook that I have over 11 hours left. It is a St. Martin's Press title, so I don't want to talk about it too much. So it'll mainly probably just be updates on how long I'm reading the audiobook for now. And then the second audiobook I have, because I'm fairly confident if the weekend works out the way that I think it will, I'll be able to finish that book. Then I want to read Checkmate by Ali Hazelwood. That is also a book that I already have off my Libby's Holds list, and I don't have a lot of days left to listen to really either of the audiobooks. So I definitely feel like I need to prioritize those. In terms of a physical book, I don't even know what I would want to pick up. I have a few ideas. I would love to say I'm going to pick up Falheart Huntsman, but I don't think I'm going to have enough time to finish reading it. I do have our book club book, Mistakes Were Made. Just imagine I have it physically as you look in this picture. Editing Anna here. I do realize this is a St. Martin's Press title now. I talk about it a little later, but I'm not going to show the cover. My bad. I'm so sorry. And I want to read that for book club. I don't know when we're meeting, but I feel like that's at least a physical book that I can at least start. The other physical book that I'm tempted to start is The Brothers Hawthorne. That one I do actually have physically. Hold on. So this is The Brothers Hawthorne. This is, I think, technically the fourth in the Inheritance Games series. I don't fully know how the universe is playing out anymore for the Inheritance Games series, but I do know I want to read this before Jennifer Lynn Barnes releases The Grandest Game coming up soon. So I do have this in hand, and I think I might just put this on like my April physical TBR anyway, just to have, because right now my physical April TBR consists of the book club book, a Pendragon book, and that's pretty much it. And I usually like to have 4 physical books, but I feel like I'm going to focus so much more on arcs in April that I don't know if I'm going to necessarily have a 4th one as early as I would like to have it. There's a few books coming out near the end of April where I'm going to put those on my May TBR, so this might just be a month of arcs, but if I want to read something physically, sometimes it's just different than staring at a Kindle screen, especially if I have a long day at work. Then at least I have this to fall back on. Hopefully I can finish Falheart Huntsman with the next readathon, or sometime in April maybe I'll put it on for that one. I don't know. So again, pretty lackluster TBR if I'm honest for this readathon, just because this weekend is Easter weekend, which means that, I don't know, everyone is just free, I guess, for the first time in forever. So tonight I have a birthday party for somebody, and that should be fun. I just have no details on it, and it stresses me out. Like, I don't know what time I'm supposed to be at this person's house. I don't have an address. I don't have nothing. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. A little nervous for that. And then on Saturday, I do have a hair appointment, which I really like, but on top of it being Easter weekend, it's still March Madness, and I've been very into women's basketball. So every game that is playing on Saturday, like, I want to watch. And I think realistically, besides the University of Iowa game, because that's where I went to school, I can have the game on in the background and listen to an audiobook, because I realistically would love to do a puzzle this weekend with so much audiobook listening and with so much basketball to watch. And then on Sunday, it being Easter, any Easter related activities is probably going to take up Sunday. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this readathon. And also, even though I've had a great great month for physical books, I've been slacking in audiobooks. I usually like to read ideally 4 a month, and I have read 3. So I really would like to finish an audiobook just to meet that goal. I did already start listening to my audiobook, and the audiobook from St. Martin's Press has extremely long chapters. So I've already done 28 minutes of the Readathon. Luckily at work today, I have a lot of repetitive tasks to do. And so whenever I have repetitive tasks, it's a lot easier for me to listen to audiobooks versus like reading and responding to emails and creating something brand new. Definitely the repetitive task makes it easier to listen to anything. So I'm actually going to start work a little early today because I really want to make sure I get the repetitive task done. So let's go along with the audiobook. Again, I don't know how much I'm going to talk about the St. Martin's Press audiobook that I'm listening to. I think that'll be interesting to see how that balances throughout this readathon. And then I would love to hopefully get to another form of reading today, but I have no idea what the day's gonna look like, and it just stresses me out a little bit. So let's get our March readathon going. All right, it is midway through day 1 of the readathon, and I'm really proud of myself because I listened to almost 4 hours of the audiobook from St. Martin's Press. Again, I am not going to talk too much about it. I will say I learned that it is supposed to be more than one book, which makes sense because the book is extremely slow, but apparently it's supposed to pick up. I also still have a goal to like physically read an arc. So I am driving to pick something up Facebook Marketplace, and then I have a birthday party to go to. So I have my Kindle because I'm going to try to sneak in a chapter after picking up the thing and going to this person's house for their birthday. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but I really want to try to because I've done so good for the past like almost 2 weeks reading a chapter of an arc every day. Here's hoping we can do that. I'm not 100% sure, but at least I'm going to try. And I also don't know how late like the birthday thing is supposed to go. So I might be able when I get home to read a chapter then because I have been staying up a little later. Not 100% sure. So we'll just have to see. But so far, if I can get at least a decent portion of Friday done, I don't necessarily think I need 8 hours, but if I can hit 6, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to because of all the driving, then we should be good to hopefully hit 24 hours this weekend. I'm really not 100% sure. I am quite nervous, but let's just see how many hours of audiobook listening we can get. All right, day 2 of the March Readathon. Haven't done as many updates as I thought I would do, but that is okay. Yesterday, I was able to read 2 chapters of the arc, The Fellowship of Puzzle Makers, which again, I don't have a cover on my Kindle for whatever reason, but that's the title. I read 2 chapters of it yesterday, and then I read like 2 or 3 chapters of it today, I think. So I haven't read too much of it because I've mainly been focusing on getting through the audiobook, and I'm almost done. The St. Martin's Press audiobook, I have less than 30 minutes left. Feels like one of the longest books I've read in a while. Just definitely not for me. I'm so excited to get into Checkmate, which is a YA romance by Ali Hazelwood. So that'll be really interesting because I feel like, at least when I've read Ali Hazelwood's books, I've still liked it, but it'll be interesting to see how she does without spice. And I think maybe I'll like that even more. Not 100% sure. So I'm really excited to get into that. And then my book club book did come in the mail. It's still actually outside. I haven't brought it in. And so my plan going forward for the rest of today is just going to be probably audiobook focus so I can finish it and get a little bit into the next audiobook because again, I'm limited on my days with my loans and I really want to listen to this, especially because on Libby, I think it already says like 40 people are waiting for Checkmate behind me, like in the line for just my audiobook version. So definitely won't be able to renew that. So I want to try to get a little bit of ways into it because I think I only have like, I don't know, 8 or 7 days left on the loan. So like I have to get through it. And then for tomorrow, my plan is to do physical reading in the morning before we go to my parents' house for Easter. And thankfully, I should be able to reach 24 hours because I'm currently at 12 hours and 11 minutes. And with the time that's left today, I think realistically, I'm going to get anywhere between 16 to 17 hours. So then when I wake up tomorrow, I will have about 7-ish hours, 7 to 8 hours left. And I already know in the morning, I can probably get about 6 hours of reading done. And then I only have 2 left. And that is just thinking I won't be able to listen to audiobooks while driving, but typically my husband is really chill and we are able to listen to audiobooks while driving. So hopefully that's going to happen. Hopefully I'll be able to reach over 24 hours and that might just be my limit for this readathon, which I think is totally fine. I definitely one day this year, just want to take a Friday off and do more of a true full weekend readathon because luckily I do have enough days off where that can be flexible. I feel like that would be really fun to see how much I could read if I had a true weekend off. So that's kind of the plan. And then when physically reading tomorrow, I am going going to switch between my arc, the book club book mistakes were made, and then also the Brothers Hawthorne. I'm just going to switch like chapter by chapter through those just to kind of get started on them, reignite my vigor for reading come April, because right now both of the arcs I'm reading are just a little bit slow, and I know Jennifer Lynn Barnes, just based off her writing style, will like get me going with her short, snappy chapters. So I feel like I really want to read those, and then of course I don't want to slack on my book club book, so I got to make sure to get some of that done. So tonight, hopefully I'm also going to finish the puzzle that you saw in the last time lapse. I haven't puzzled in so long, and so it'd be really fun just to be able to like finish a puzzle too. So I might switch off of audiobooks after I finish the puzzle and then do some physical book reading, but I definitely want to finish that because I just feel like that's something so fun I haven't done in a while, and I definitely just want to, you know, kind of re-engage that hobby, and I feel like this was a really good way to do that. So let's go get started on some audiobook listening so I can finally start Checkmate by Ellie Hazelwood. All right, it is Monday, not April Fool's. I definitely did not record anything yesterday besides the time lapse reading a bunch of books. That is my bad. But I'm happy to report, between mainly listening to audiobooks and a little bit of physical reading, that we were able to hit over 24 hours. I didn't think that that would necessarily be possible this readathon. It was definitely weird having an audiobook focused readathon. I feel like I have not focused on audiobooks that much in a while. So I was really excited to get two done. One again by St. Martin's Press that I'm not going to talk about, and the other was Check and Mate by Ellie Hazelwood, which was really good in my opinion. So this is about like the world champion of chess who's like 20, and then this girl who's 18. She used to be good at chess, but then there's a lot of backstory into why she doesn't do chess anymore, but she does a charity event for her friend, and she ends up wiping the floor with the world champion. And then it's all about their relationship, her family situation, getting her back into chess. So I really overall liked it. I'm going to give it like a 4.5 because there's one storyline point where the conversations just got a little weird, and I felt like they were a little bit gaslighty, and I even texted a friend and was like, did you feel this way about this part of the book? And she said yes. I was like, okay, glad I wasn't the only one that thought that I got a little weird vibes from that. So that's what we have there for the audiobooks. And then I also read a little bit of the Fellowship of Puzzle Makers. I am enjoying it. I like how this is a dual perspective book because you get a young man named Clayton who was dropped off at the Fellowship of Puzzle Makers, and he was then taken in by the creator of the fellowship named Pippa. Pippa has passed away, but Clayton doesn't actually know where he was born. He doesn't know anything about his past, and Pippa has left him one last puzzle to uncover, and that is the puzzle of his past. So he has to do that, but you get Pippa's perspective every other chapter. And so I think it'll be interesting because I'm sure they'll solve like the puzzle of his past at the same time, and I'm sure I'm getting hints in Pippa's side of the story to solve the puzzle myself. It is a little weird on ebook format. I probably would recommend like a physical copy of this book. I'm not sure how it would translate into audiobook either, just because there are some actual puzzles in it. Like there's a crossword and there are some like word scramble type puzzles. So overall, still enjoying it. It comes out in like a week, so I actually need to finish it. And of course, I will see how much I actually read this week. Not 100% sure, but I am hopeful nonetheless. And then my book club book that I talked about before, it is actually by St. Martin's Press, which I saw on the side here. I didn't know until bringing it down here and like checking them. So I just wanted to say that, yes, I've started a book. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I feel like this is a learning process for me because I feel like I'm not someone who typically looks at publishers. And so now I'm trying to do a better job at looking at publishers so that we're not going to talk about it anymore. But what we will talk about is the Brothers Hawthorne. As you can see, I'm not super far in it, but let me tell you, I feel like I'm definitely not this far. I feel like I should be not as far as this, but the weight of her writing style is just, she writes so fast. And I had an opportunity to meet her last year, but she had to cancel my stop on her tour for this book. But I'm really hopeful because she only had to cancel 2 stops on that tour. So I'm hopeful she's going to go back to those bookstores for her 5th book. So that's why I really want to make sure I read this before that book comes out. So this is the 4th book in the Inheritance Games series. You can definitely just read the 3 Inheritance Games books and like end it there. But with the ending of the 3rd book, there's obviously more that's going to happen. And this takes place in my head. I don't know if this is true. This is technically number 4, but this takes place, I think, before the 5th book is going to take place. You really focus on the brothers in this book. It is dual perspective. They're in 2 different places. So that's something just to keep in mind, but still short, snappy chapters, quick writing style. I feel like if I got got like 3 hours, I could get quite a ways into this book because I am enjoying it that much. So overall, pretty successful readathon. I feel like I am extremely stressed, and so we're gonna see how the next few weeks go. Luckily, I have video ideas for the majority of April, but I have been slacking on updating my ARC reading video, which is my bad. I should probably update that at this point. That's not coming out for another few weeks, but I'm super excited because this week I get to meet Holly Jackson, and then I have an idea of what I want to do for the mid-April video, but it's gonna require help from my husband. So let me know if you would like him to help me with a video, because he's not on camera, but I just need him to do a little bit of research for me, and then I think it would be a lot of fun. So thanks for joining me on this readathon. I'm hoping I can talk more during the April readathon, and I'll see what I'll be reading then, because I really don't know what I'm going to even be reading this month.